got to the Chauvin trials, which we can talk about a little bit, because the reason why I know that is because apparently George Floyd's friend, he was one of the witnesses for the prosecutor side, and he decided to plead the fifth and not actually follow through because he didn't want to incriminate himself because he sold George Floyd the fentanyl that he took. Mm-hmm. And the reason why he decided to plead the fifth was because if you actually provide someone a lethal drug and they die from you providing it to them, that is third degree murder.
100%.
So he didn't want to incriminate himself.
100%.
So he decided to plead the fifth. Yeah.
100%.
And
I actually know, I don't know the person, but there's I know somebody that was pretty associate who died because of the same thing. They thought they were taking something else. Mm-hmm. And it was early in the game, maybe like 2 years ago, before people knew fentanyl was in all these things, or the people were cutting with fentanyl. That's the problem. People are cutting their pills and cutting these like ecstasy and stuff like that with fentanyl. And so they're pressing pills, they're doing all these things, and they're not doctors. It's just like you said, home brews. These are home fucking brews. And he died. Like, he died. Like, and so it's
Yeah, so the whole Chauvin trial thing. So I don't know if y'all been keeping up with it. I've been kind of like in and out keeping up with it.
I haven't.
But
I haven't either.
John, when we first talked about when George Floyd, when it first happened, John called it. John, what'd you say?
I said they're going to beat it because they charged him with the wrong fucking murder.
They charged him with the wrong charges. They're trying to get him for third-degree murder.
And the charges were changed. Do y'all remember? There were lawyers on the case already. Those lawyers got thrown off. New lawyers came and changed the charges. And now they're getting their ass whooped.
Because, yeah, they really are. They're getting their...
By themselves.
Yeah. We haven't even gotten to the defense's witnesses yet. So far, this entire week has did nothing but the prosecutor's witnesses, and all the prosecutor's witnesses have strengthened the defense's argument. Because I'm not a lawyer. None of us are lawyers. So this is us talking about our limited understanding of this. So if you doubt what we're saying or don't believe what we're saying, do your own research. I highly recommend it. But from my understanding, what's going on is all the defense has to do is prove reasonable doubt. Because they're trying to say that Chauvin, third degree, murdered this man. Like, he had the intent to murder this man. So the defense, all they have to do is prove reasonable doubt. So with the witnesses that have come, they've proved that George Floyd took drugs. Mm-hmm. He was on fentanyl.
Mm-hmm. Was he on fentanyl when he was there?
Yes, they even have a video of him apparently taking it, and then they have another video that they're going through with him actually saying, "I've eaten drugs" or something like that.
Okay, because I remember watching him inside the store, and he's moving weird, man. Like,
yeah,
you can tell. Weird.
Well, there's a clip apparently of the friend who decided not to partake in the trial handing something to George Floyd. Apparently him, and then there's another clip of him having something in his mouth. Mm. So he was he's on drugs. There's a little bit of reasonable doubt now. Like there's doubt that whether or not it was the knee on the neck or if it was the drugs itself. And I'm not trying to say I'm for or against anything. I'm just trying to portray the trial right now. Mm-hmm.
It's cloudy. They made it cloudy.
Mm-hmm. And then they had another guy. I think it was some professional when it came to. I don't know if he was a cop or if he was some kind of trainer cops when it came to how to detain criminals or whatever, what have you. But he apparently said that Chauvin, and this is the prosecutor's witness, Chauvin actually used less force. He could have used a taser instead, and they asked him, is a taser more force or less force? Taser was more force. So he actually chose a lesser use of force to detain George Floyd. So it actually goes it's a.
I don't know about that part because, to be honest with you, bro, tase me, bro. Don't put no knee on my neck. I'm gonna be dead ass honest with you. Like, I know tasing hurts. You can say, "Ouch, it hurts," but one kills you. Like,
well, the argument, tasers can kill you too.
100% they can. Yeah, they can cause you heart problems. But it's a contraption made for something to do something. Like. The knee is where it's like.
But it just comes to this is the argument. Like they're
trying
to prove
their own
intent,
defense is fucking up.
Exactly, because now they gave a room to say if he had the option to use a taser, and taser's a more lethal force than the knee on the neck, then he clearly didn't have the intent of murder.
And my problem with that, the only problem I have, because I still agree, but my only problem I have with that is who's to say a taser is more force than a knee on the neck based on what?
You also have to compare like
weight.
like not only that, but the time, the duration. So
Well,
like
that's
one
another thing,
tase is
though.
worth 8 minutes of like knee to neck. Like
Well,
what?
no, I can see. I'm a completely agree with you too, Doc. I also think that like I don't agree with the charge of murder, but the fact that he was on his neck for 8 minutes was ridiculous. I feel it was unnecessary. But the problem is, again, this is all the prosecutor's witness. Like they're shooting themselves in the foot. Their own witness said
Because they don't
or
want him to
attested
be
that,
charged.
huh?
Because they don't want Chauvin to be charged.
We'll get to that with the conspiracy of it because I got some ideas also. But their own witness said the defense asked the prosecutor's own witness if they've ever been in a situation where they had to keep a man under custody under similar circumstances until someone arrived. He said, yes, I've had to detain someone in a similar manner until the EMS arrived. So it's actually not uncommon for a cop to detain someone like that for an extended duration of time.
That's still stupid.
I agree with you.
No, I agree with you. I know you're not saying it as your opinion. I'm just saying because we do this thing, it's okay. That's the argument.
There's another argument.
We do it.
There's another argument. I didn't see I don't know if they had a video with different angle of the footage, but apparently it shows that he wasn't on his neck; he was on his shoulder.
No,
I don't know how.
We seen the whole.
I
We
saw
seen
the
a
clip.
back angle
Yeah,
with the
I
Asian.
saw the
There was a
clip.
whole Asian
Yeah.
guy we didn't see at first. Remember?
Yeah,
Then we were
I
like,
remember
"Yo, who the f- is this guy trying to skate
Yeah.
off scot free?"
Yeah.
He was on the legs
just backpedaling.
But so they put it on the neck though. Like I can understand maybe like the back, like you know what I mean, the back of the shoulders or something like that. Like, cause you're just putting your weight down just to hold him down. Like, but you're not trying to cut off the airway.
It's a blood something like a blood hold, a blood choke, a blood whatever the term is. It's not to block the airflow. It's to I guess something about the circulate. I don't know specifically what it is. It's just from my understanding of what they're trying to argue in the case.
Okay, it's not like they had 4 cops on them. But the thing is, I have a question for you guys. My opinion of all this that's going on is that there are several big players in this trying to coerce certain sides. So I'm reading this, and the police chief testifies that his actions violated policy, right? That's one party. Whoever's motivating, whatever motivation the police chief has at going against Chauvin, that's one angle, right? You have his prosecutor's angle. They're trying to get him all, or they're trying to prosecute him, supposedly. And then you have his defense's angle, right? Who are the people behind them is my question. Because all of this going on, it just seems so messy, and it's such a national spotlight thing that I feel like there are things going on behind closed doors here. Everybody wants a different conclusion because
let's get into
to
conspiracy
benefit
now.
them.
So
Yeah.
let's get into the conspiracy of it. Here's my little conspiracy. So I would argue, and this is all conspiracy. I gotta preface that as much as I can.
For sure. But name your players.
So one could argue, and I am, that what if the prosecutors are losing on purpose to actually, I don't know, facilitate, promote, nurture, feed an actual riot? Because if Chauvin gets scot-free from this, which I think he will, like he's not, like based on how things are going, he's not going to get charged.
Only reason I don't agree with that is because cases like this, 9 times out of 10, he goes away.
This is a big case, though. Like,
So
I
is Trayvon
completely
Martin.
I agree with you.
Trayvon Martin was a kid. Like, I'm just saying, like, whatever happens is going to happen. The actual public view of how black people or whatever react to this shit is we get mad, we riot for a week or two. Maybe the time has been extended to months. And then we go away and we stop caring. So I just don't think the motivation behind the prosecution would be to incite riots. Or whoever's.
I don't think it's okay. Let me elaborate, complete the full thought then.
Okay.
I think they're trying to lose on purpose, not necessarily the prosecutors, but whoever's up there in charge, because they want to use the potential riots like they did with the George Floyd riots for some political gain. Votes,
That's what I'm saying.
Influence, power, I don't know what have you. Again, I have no real anything to justify. It's just me being conspiratorial and blah blah blah.
But that's what I'm saying. I feel like you'd get more votes if that person who wants the votes, they want the black votes.
And I feel like this
or
would
whatever
hold more
it is.
credence if Trump was president. Like if Trump was president and this was going on, I'd be like, they're doing this on purpose because they want to make Trump look bad.
No, I just don't see, because a riot is such an uncontrollable thing too. I just don't see anybody trying to
Is it though? Because remember those bricks when the first riots, and that was suspect, man.
But I'm saying individually, you can't control individuals.
Understandable.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't see anybody putting a plan together that intricate and then a variable being people just doing what they want to do.
Yeah,
as
I
part
don't think
of
they
the-
coordinated, Portland born
You
burning
know what
for
I'm
like
saying?
100 days. So,
That's what I'm saying. So I honestly think the NRA is involved somewhere. I think
How the NRA?
gun laws, whatever it is, just people involved in that type of field
I
or
get what you're
whatever.
saying.
I believe there's the anti-gun people somewhere are involved. Like I believe there's a lot of parties involved in this. I just don't believe because when I'm from hearing this case and looking at the case, I feel like I'm listening to people talk about other things and not the case.
I
Like-
see what you're
Fair.
saying.
Okay, I
Like-
see what you're saying. They're using this as a
It's
catalyst for something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I've actually been avoiding it because of that. Because I'm more so just bracing for the results. Where I'm just like, cool, if he doesn't go, if he gets away, people are gonna revolt, and if he does go away, then I don't know if it's gonna reaffirmate some kind of like leftist push or something like that. And so I'm just like, I'm just
Well,
kind of waiting to see.
Who's the
what
party that
happens.
wants him convicted?
Another side of the conspiracy is the reason why. This is not. I've read this and I thought it was interesting, but I still think it's BS. Is the reason why that the prosecutor might be losing, if intentionally, is because they don't want to further the blue wave going on, the blue exit police officers. Because right now, because of the whole like black or the whole all cops are bastards thing, and the whole defund the police thing, like cops, no one wants to be cops anymore. Cops are quitting. Our police force and crime's going up. Like it's pretty bad. And now, if the Chauvin gets convicted of this, like who wants to be a cop after this?
Yeah, nobody's.
I
in
think
general,
that's-
nobody's
I'm
gonna
not
be a
trying.
cop for a long
I'm
time.
not trying to justify what Chauvin did. Like I am on the side of what Chauvin did was wrong. Like you didn't have like, dude is clear. Like you see the clips right there. It keeps showing up. Like
mentally,
you didn't have to do that.
Mentally, if you take the Chauvin case specifically, and you say his prosecution on this case is the reason why I do not want to be a police officer.
No,
I'm okay with that. I'm saying that group specifically, but I know you're talking about the general feeling of being a cop. But also, this is my problem when it comes to a lot of things in America. There's a disconnect between context and the domino effect of things.
Completely agree.
So is it that people, why do people have bad feelings towards cops?
Because they always like to abuse their
But
authority
the
and power.
person who doesn't want to be a cop anymore isn't thinking about that part. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's
so everybody
I won't be able to utilize my authority and power without it being,
impeded or somebody
Exactly.
looking at me crazy or I go to.
Exactly.
So I get it, but you get what I'm saying? I get it, but then one would argue that a cop should enroll or enlist knowing those things. And now you have context for your job. Actual context for your
like
job.
I've been saying, we need police reform. We need to hold our police more accountable and stuff.
Well,
It's
the
just
hard
we're
part
not
is,
going about it
like-
the right way.
So
But I don't believe all cops.
So right
are
now, like
bastards.
kids,
do I.
they see the media and they go like, I don't want to be a cop, dude. They're monsters. Like what the hell? Like why would I do that? All signs are telling me don't be a cop because cops are the bad guys. And the thing about that though is that we need cops. Like we're still gonna have cops. It's a society. Like we're gonna have them. The only thing is that now we're gonna be pulling from the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
And so
that's the problem.
it's
Where were we
kind of
pulling
like
from before?
Well,
well, not the very bottom, but we're gonna get there. Like,
Are you sure?
I mean,
I
I
think-
like
I
to
think-
think so, man. I mean,
This is my.
I'd like to think
this
that I
is,
would,
this
Doc.
is,
I'd
this
like
is
to
honestly
think so.
speaking. This is my 100% opinion. City police is different from every other police in whatever state you are in. Atlanta police is different from Valdosta. You get what I'm saying? And if you do the math, even if you say 50% of APD is perfectly well-trained, smart guys, individuals, then you count the rest of Georgia police. I'm talking about the countries, the hills, the place where there's may not be a mayor. The biggest running position in the city is sheriff. The sheriff's son plays quarterback
talked
for
about this
Smallville.
before.
Yeah, like in Smallville.
yeah.
Like those type of towns, those aren't the top of the middle or the. That's the guy who was a bully in high school and ended up
The quarterback that couldn't get a scholarship and decided to.
and that's
Well-
the general. That's
well,
the general
I kind of, I
because
like
the
to,
cities are different.
I like to live by the motto of like economize your demons. So I don't blame a man who's a bully in school who becomes a cop. Like
Oh,
if
no,
he
for sure.
if he can utilize that evil and flip it into a good, then yeah, like for sure, be a cop. Like obviously, don't be a murderous cop, because that's just you're just abusing your power and you're abusing your nature. So I can totally understand if that's within their nature and they just decide to use it for the benefit of like society. My thing about that is like, I'm not gonna do it. I wasn't a bully in high school. I don't want to be a cop, man. So
But
like,
also
if he
that's
wants
a-
to do it, like, it's fine.
But also, that's an after effect of you being a cop. So, like, if you're a bully but in high school, right, and you decide I want to be a cop, but you want to utilize the good things you've learned to be a cop or da 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 da, you're no longer a bully. But whereas if you're a bully in high school and you're like, because I was a bully in high school, I need to be a cop. That's what I'm talking about. And that's a lot of the country doesn't know. America is country as fuck. The actual America is not the cities. That's not most of us.
I agree with that, and I feel like that's the problem when it comes to the representation of America.
It's country as fuck. Like, it's all America's a lot more. Most of America's a lot more closer to 2000 than they are to 2020. It's just the facts. Because America's a small town country. We believe in having our little pockets and this is our living, and we sell that, and we pride ourselves on. Yeah, we pride ourselves on it. Most of it isn't New York City. We have a large amount of people there, but that's not the larger percent of the country. The reason, the proof of that is Georgia's never really been blue until now. But if you stayed in Atlanta, you would think all of Georgia was blue.
Mm-hmm.
But then you realize, Augusta, Macon,
If you lived in Austin, you think Texas was blue.
But then you realize, oh God, we're just
like, for
in
example,
an echo
when I went to
chamber.
go visit Texas last year, I think it was around November, when I was driving into Texas, there were Trump flags everywhere. Right when you hit Austin, Biden.
And so everybody in Austin is thinking, everybody's thinking like us in Austin. But no, that's not the fucking case. So just like the police, even George Floyd that died in a big city, now you put that in the country? Oh, man. First off, we might not even hear about it. Like the boy who got wrapped in the fucking gym.
Yep.
Can you right now?
That's
And so now
crazy.
we're talking about police in the country. That's what's always weird for me. I'm never really like, city police have it hard. I understand that. I'm always actually more big on like, what about that town where there's actually nobody to say this isn't right, this isn't fair, and that's most of America, and that's scary for me as far as policing. You can pull me over and whatever you said happened because I'm in Spencer, Tennessee, Van Boyton. I told you I went to jail there. Nigger written all over the wall. Meth head had to break me out my cuffs. Meth head. They were feeding me egg sandwiches, and on Friday you got tomato on the egg sandwich.
I actually think that that's like the paranoia for both sides, though, man. Like, people who live in the country are afraid of disappearing in the city.
100%.
There's not enough cops for the amount of people. You die in the street, nobody fucking finds out because the cops can't get to you. Even when they do, there's so many people around. Like, so it's just a paranoia people have of both sides. Like, so I had a girlfriend that lived in the country, like deep in the country, and I remember everybody in her town knew each other, and I thought it was the fucking scariest thing in the world. Because they were like, "Oh, that's Jimmy. He's walking to his job. He always goes in at 2 p.m." And I was like, "How the fuck do you know that? Like, why? Like, what? Like, dude, like, I was like, if they really wanted to make somebody disappear, you're right. They could just do it, and they would all say like, we're all in on it."
They know
And
your
then,
schedule.
and then the scary part about shit like that, let's just be conspiratorial. The funny shit about that, right? I'm the sheriff. I knocked that boy's head off, right? Body found, blah, 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 blah. FBI, somebody comes into town. By the time these motherfuckers done came into town, I done got everything lined up. Because guess what? I'm the motherfucking sheriff.
You know
And
how
I
the
can
system,
do that.
Yeah.
See
There's
her
probably 6 cops in my precinct. We all went to high school together.
her rebuttal was like, but like in the city, you can disappear in a crowd, and like people would never even notice. Like, you could do something and just walk away, and nobody would ever know that it was you. And you could
I think it's the opposite, though, because there's cameras everywhere now in the city, and there's
That's true.
eyes
There
everywhere
are
in the city.
cameras
You know,
now
like,
everywhere in the city.
there's
And
like people
iPhones,
do
too.
disappear, obviously, in the city, but it's just like there's
I don't know, man. Like,
you have a
could
better
just-
chance of
But
being
I agree
seen.
with Doc. It's just
Yeah.
both sides.
100%. I just think
Yeah,
you have
I
a better
mean,
chance of being seen.
You could be like wearing like just covers and walk around and just kind of drop a grenade and keep walking forward, and nobody would know.
100%.
There'd
But
be,
you
like,
could
just
be
a
dead
disaster.
on your farm for 2 weeks and nobody knows.
It's both sides, bro. Like, it's scary. You don't know. You gotta decide where you want to live. I actually kind of like
Johnny
the city,
at 2
man.
p.m. today.
It just comes down to there's a risk no matter what, and everyone chooses risk differently.
100%.
Yeah, risk
100%.
assessment. That's funny. That's the second time it's come up today for me.
Oh, really?
I was listening to Dan Crenshaw talk about risk assessment on Joe Rogan's podcast, and that's one of the things he pointed out, where it's just like he was seeing the way the left and the right were fighting, and he was just like, both sides were literally just performing risk assessment, and they were arguing the way that we should go about it. It's just
it's just
That's
two different
100%.
ways. Yeah, it's very different.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching a clip of Fake Deep Thinking. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe, like the clip, leave a comment, and check out our page for more content. Full episodes of Fake Deep Thinking are released every Friday on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Check it out.